The future of transportation isn't just electric. It's intelligent, autonomous, and closer than you think. Welcome, future drivers, to the Future Car Prophecy. A silent construction is unfolding inside India. Not a construction of buildings, but a construction of power. Factories breathe in silence. Boardrooms whisper. Entire supply chains shift their gravitational center. In the global automotive war, the battlefield is not the showroom. It is the cell manufacturing line. It is the software stack inside the vehicle brain. It is the charging mesh that turns a country into a seamless electricity network. And in this rewiring of the world's mobility DNA, one name is preparing for an outcome the world is not ready for. Tata, not as a car manufacturer, but as an integrated mobility superstructure. This is not prediction based on emotion. This is strategic inevitability built in plain sight. And tonight, on Gear Pulse Insight, we travel through the machinery, the mathematics, and the geopolitical power behind this quiet, emerging empire. For 100 years, the automotive game was simple. A company designed a car. A company assembled a car. A company sold a car. Profit was in the metal. Brand was in the chrome. And the engine was the beating heart that separated titans from footnotes. But electric vehicles killed this paradigm. Because in electric mobility, the product is the battery, the margin is the software, and the recurring revenue is the charging ecosystem. The company that controls those three layers controls not only the car, but the future of national mobility. In petrol economies, the oil companies were kings. In electric economies, the companies that control electrons will be the ones writing history. Now pause here, because this single truth is the foundation under everything that follows. The EV war will not be won by the company that builds the best vehicle. It will be won by the company that controls the entire stack. And this is where Tata becomes dangerous. Because Tata is the only Indian conglomerate positioning itself to control the cell, the pack, the vehicle, the software, the charging network, the power grid interface, and the capital to fuel all of this simultaneously. This is no longer Tata Motors. This is a coordinated, multi-domain mobility architecture. This is stack ownership warfare. The world did not notice the turning point, but historians of the future will label this as the moment the tectonic plates moved. It was the transition from hybrid transitions to pure electric-born architectures. When Tata revealed the Acti.EV platform, it was not a new electric car platform. It was a conveyor belt, a replicator, a mass-market electric architecture factory. Punch.EV was the first to exit the assembly line, but the message was much bigger. Tata is not experimenting. Tata is industrializing. This is the same moment when Tesla moved from Roadster to Model S platform scaling. That is the same moment when Chinese players moved from trickle launches to architecture factories. Platforms, not products, decide the next decade. This is why the year 2024 to 2027 is not a product war. It is a platform war. And quietly, Tata already has. Mass segment EV platform. Premium segment EV platform incoming. Cell capacity under construction. Pack assembly localization. Charging ecosystem as choke point. Software backbone via JLR's NVIDIA partnership. That is not a car company. That is the formation of a national electric utility. And the world is not ready for an Indian company to become that. In most countries, automotive companies operate inside the economy. Tata has constructed a scenario where the group is slowly becoming a shadow infrastructure operator of India's mobility itself. Because one arm is batteries, one arm is software, one arm is charging, one arm is power, one arm is capital, one arm is engineering manpower. It is not a company, it is a federation of strategic capabilities. Most people look at Tata Motors and think car company. But this is wrong. The correct mental model is Tata is becoming a sovereign digital energy mobility state, like a self-contained economic nation operating inside India, but architected for global reach. When the grid is electric, when the customer behavior is digital, when the vehicle is software-defined, the company that owns all three domains becomes a quiet government. This is what 2027 to 2030 is shaping. The EV future is not hardware. The EV future is governance. And only Tata has the lattice to govern. Look past the news cycles. Ignore temporary sales charts. Forget monthly registration spikes. Those are surface ripples. The real shift is subterranean. It is cell factories coming online. It is pack localization becoming default. It is charging networks expanding into normality. It is software pipelines turning into monetization engines. It is the group mindset operating like a single, silent organism. 2027 is not the year Tata becomes number one in EV sales. 2027 is the year Tata owns the electric value chain. That is a very different outcome. Market share can be stolen. Ecosystem control cannot. This is why 2027 is not a peak. It is an ignition. India's EV decade begins then. And the Tata Group is quietly arranging all the pieces so that when the nation flips to electric at scale, the only rational default choice for infrastructure, software, charging, storage, and vehicle will be a Tata solution. Not because of patriotism, but because of efficiency. Not because of branding, but because of system ownership. Future markets do not reward the best brands. Future markets reward the deepest infrastructure. History is not going to record this as a success of a car company. History will record this as the moment an Indian corporate dynasty executed the exact architecture that Silicon Valley and Beijing underestimated. This is not a prediction. This is the reading of a power asymmetry that is already engineered. And when 2027 arrives, the shock will not be that Tata won. The shock will be that it was visible in plain sight and nobody paid attention. This is Gear Pulse Insight, where we do not review cars, we decode power. Comment which automotive empire you want decoded next. The future is not arriving. The future is already under construction.